This is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Marvin Ross in with your major news package for today, Tuesday 11th September 2018. In our lead stories nationally, St. Kitts and Nevis residents urged to monitor progress of Tropical Storm Isaac, and the Department of Culture begins preparation for Culturama 45. Regionally, Trinidad and Tobago shaken by 4.2 magnitude earthquake. Internationally, Hurricane Florence moves towards the U.S. And in sports, CPL playoffs to commence this evening in Guyana. We will have the details to these and other stories after this short break.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's Powerhouse.
Wow.
Welcome back and on to our national news segment. The National Hurricane Center NHC issued a new advisory at 5 p.m. for Tropical Storm Isaac. At 5 p.m., Tropical Storm Isaac was located 14.6 degrees north, 51.3 degrees west, or about 670 miles east of the Lesser Antilles. Maximum sustained winds are 70 miles per hour with wind gusts of 85 miles per hour. Isaac is moving west at 17 miles per hour. Interest in the Leeward Islands should monitor the progress of Isaac as additional watches could be issued this evening. And the Ministry of Culture here on Nevis and the Culturama Secretariat has begun to take the necessary steps in preparation for Culturama 45. The committee launched the slogan competition for the 2019 festivities at the launch of Culturama 2018. Minister with responsibility for culture in the Nevis Island Administration NIA, the Honorable Eric Evelyn, said this is in an effort to improve the festival.
We are intent on having our Culturama 45th edition being the best ever, and therefore the promotion and everything else, the preparation must start early. We are intent on starting early, and that is why we would have launched the slogan competition on the 26th of July 2018. As a matter of fact, on that same evening when it was launched, slogans began to come in. And I would just like to remind persons who are out there, who are putting pen to paper, who are thinking of submitting slogans this year, that you can submit your slogans to slogan@culturamanevis.com.
That is the Honorable Eric Evelyn. Minister Evelyn was speaking at a press conference on Thursday, 6th September at the Cultural Village, where he gave an update on the 2018 festival. Culturama 44 festivities ran from July 26th to August 7th, 2018. The theme for this year was Fete, Food and Folklore, Culturama 44. And students of the Charlestown Secondary School, CSS, the Gingerland Secondary School, GSS, and the Nevis Sixth Form College will participate in the 35th Anniversary Independence Debate Competition. The competition is organized by the Social Policy and Sustainable Human Development Unit, SPA-SHDU, in the Ministry of Social Development. The debate will be on Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and will be held at the Nevis Performing Arts Center, NEPAC, on September 22nd and 29th, 2018 at 6 p.m. nightly. The Ministry of Tourism, in collaboration with the Craft House on St. Kitts, is currently hosting a week-long leather craft training workshop at the Newtown Community Center. The goal of the workshop is to advance development and integration of creative products using leather and providing technical support for leather crafters. The main objectives of this workshop are to provide technical assistance and help local artisans have related business skill sets so that they can consistently and constantly deliver excellent service and local products to visitors and to fellow citizens. At the end of the workshop, which is being facilitated by the SENA Training Institute in Colombia, the top 5 participants will be selected to travel to Colombia. They will attend a 2-week internship scholarship program in Colombia covered by the SENA Training Institute. The internship program will cover airfare, accommodation, meals, medical card, a translator, and transportation. And a local company here in St. Kitts and Nevis is the recipient of 2 regional top awards. Dreamy Weddings and Tours Inc. has been named the Caribbean Wedding Planner of the Year and Caribbean Off-Site Wedding Planner of the Year. The awards were handed down at the Caribbean Wedding Industry Awards 2018 on September 8, 2018. The Caribbean Wedding Industry Awards is a unique educational and networking event developed to showcase the Caribbean as the premier destination for weddings, honeymoons, and romance. Dreamy Weddings and Tours Inc. is a leading Caribbean destination wedding planner headquartered in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. The company specializes in destination wedding planning and scenic tours for 13 Caribbean destinations, namely Antigua, Aruba, Anguilla, Barbados, Belize, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, Jamaica, Mexico, Puerto Rico, St. Lucia, St. Martin, and St. Kitts and Nevis. Local attorney Anthony E. Gonzalez, QC, is the featured speaker at the Prime Minister's Independence Lecture Series slated for Wednesday, 12th September at the Sir Cecil Jacobs Auditorium at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, at 7 p.m. The Prime Minister's Lecture Series is one of the major highlights for the 35th Independence celebrations. Anthony Gonzalez is a former St. Kitts and Nevis State Scholar who graduated from the Hugh Wooding Law School in Trinidad in 1994, after which he commenced to practice as a sole practitioner and is now senior partner with the law firm Gonzalez Parry. The distinguished attorney is also a former president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer of the St. Kitts and Nevis Bar Association. The theme for Independence is Love, Service, Patriotism, and Pride, Independence 35. And more than 1,000 persons to date have benefited from the Hurricane Home Rehabilitation Program here in St. Kitts and Nevis. The program, which began earlier this year and was an initiative of the Team Unity government, implemented for persons affected by Hurricanes Irma and Maria in September 28, 2017, has proven to be beneficial for citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis, either by way of duty-free discounts on materials for repairs and renovations, or with both material and labor to repair and improve their homes. During his press conference in the late August, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, lauded the efforts of Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Mr. Osbert D'Souza, in coordinating the program. Prime Minister Harris also stated that is at the conference that the Hurricane Relief Fund HRF, launched last year, paved the way for the government to put in place the initiative. The program, however, is expected to end this month. Finally, in our national news segment, Permanent Secretary in the Premier's Ministry here on Nevis, Mr. Wakely Daniel, is urging members of the public to participate in the 35th anniversary of independence activities. The theme for this year's Independence is Love, Service, Patriotism, and Pride, Independence 35. He stated that, and I quote, "We do not have a packed month in September. Come on out and attend the events." Activities for Independence 35 are namely a 10K run from Charlestown to Cotton Ground and back on Friday, September 14th, a pan and masquerade exhibition at the Cultural Complex on Saturday, 15th September, a regional and international drag race at the St. James's Racetrack on Sunday, 16th September, and the day will climax with a free National Heroes Day concert at the Cultural Village. The concert is an effort to engender national pride. The concert will feature world-renowned reggae bands Steel Pulse and Third World. The One Nevis, One Federation, One Love concert will also pay tribute to Nevision Steve Grizzly Nisbet of blessed memory, who passed away recently and was the original drummer of Third World. And that's our national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com, or you can check us out on our social media page on Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
This summer, the Bank of Nevis Limited offers you sizzling hot vacation loans. Come and experience summer like never before with our easy-to-access summer vacation loan. Get up to $15,000 unsecured with up to 2 years to repay. Take a trip, experience the world, or participate in our very own Culturama. Enjoying your vacation has never been easier with a relaxing vacation loan from the Bank of Nevis Limited. My bank, your bank, our bank, the Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook.
Welcome back and onto our regional news segment. Out of Trinidad and Tobago. The Twin Island Republic was rattled by a 4.2 magnitude earthquake late Sunday night. The Seismic Research Center, SRC, of the St. Augustine campus of the University of the West Indies, UWI, said the quake occurred at around 11:34 p.m., about 22 kilometers northwest of San Fernando, 24 kilometers south of Port of Spain, and 36 kilometers south of Arima, that is southwest of Arima. It struck at a depth of 40 kilometers. However, there were no reports of any damage or injury. And out of St. Lucia, the national protest march and rally planned by the opposition St. Lucia Labour Party SLP on Sunday, the anniversary of the fire of the ill-fated St. Jude Hospital, saw by most indications a record turnout, the largest demonstration held on the island that transcended party affiliation. A wide cross-section of the population turned out, including members of the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association SMDA, Customs and Excise, civil servants, former parliamentarians from the United Workers' Party, UWP, and the SLP, etc. There were many national issues to march for, namely healthcare, unemployment, no-bid contracts, the Prime Minister and his administration's refusal to listen to the concerns of the people, the proposed Dolphin Park, increasing debt, and poor governance of the country in general. Songs of solidarity and redemption filled the air in opposition to Prime Minister Alan Chastain's administration to chants of Chastain must go. Opposition MP Dr. Ernest Hillier said, and I quote, "Yesterday was incredible. Never in my wildest expectation did I anticipate so many St. Lucians would invoke turnout to register their dissatisfaction with the present government," end quote. Prime Minister Chastain left the island in the meantime. And finally, in our regional news segment, Air Canada is increasing service and offering year-round Air Canada Lounge non-stop flights from Toronto's Pearson International Airport to Argyle International Airport in St. Vincent from next month. Weekly Thursday flights resume on October 25th and will continue on a year-round basis. A second weekly flight will be operating on Sundays during the peak winter travel season between December 16th, 2018 and April 28th, 2019. This is the second year the airline has offered non-stop flights since the opening of the Argyle International Airport in February 2017, and the first time offering year-round to Canadian travelers. The SVGTA will host a series of roadshows later this month in Canada to offer more information on the flights as well as destination activities and accommodations. That concludes our regional news segment. International news comes up next as the VON Major News Package continues. Welcome back and onto our international news segment. The first major hurricane of the season looks set to hit the U.S. with sustained winds of 140 miles per hour. Hurricane Florence, a Category 4 hurricane, is expected to make landfall in North and South Carolina on Thursday. More than 1.5 million people have already been ordered to evacuate coastal areas ahead of the storm. We have more in this report.
Well, the Atlantic's swarming with storms at the moment. It's been decades since this area of the eastern seaboard of the United States has seen anything as powerful. This is the forecast track, and within this cone here, that's basically the error bar of the forecast track. The storm could be a little bit further south or towards the north, and apart from the destructive winds, it's also the rainfall. We're talking about 10-15 inches plus of rainfall across this part of the world. And remember, it could go into South Carolina as well and affect some of these coastal areas to the north as well. And ahead of all of this bad weather, evacuations are already taking place.
And Ethiopians and Eritreans have been celebrating the reopening of two key crossing points more than 20 years after a border war shut them. Hundreds of people from the two countries hugged each other, and some wept as their leaders led celebrations to mark the reopening. It is the latest sign of reconciliation between the former enemies. We have more in this report.
Emotions ran high as hundreds of people from both countries met and hugged as the border points were reopened for the first time in decades. Others openly wept as Eritrea's President Isaias Afwerki and Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed led the ceremony, which was attended by thousands of ordinary citizens, soldiers from both sides and religious leaders. The move means families who haven't seen each other for long years will finally be able to reunite. Cross-border trade is also expected to resume. Since signing an agreement to restore ties in July, leaders from both countries have moved swiftly to put aside 2 decades of hostility that followed the conflict in 1998.
And a 12-year-old U.S. boy accused of walking into a classroom with a handgun, pointing it at his teacher and pulling the trigger, is in custody on a charge of attempted murder. The gun did not go off as the safety catch was on. The teacher then managed to talk him down and disarm him, court papers have said. The incident happened at a junior high school in Iowa on August 31st. No one was harmed during the incident, and the boy's teacher and another staff member were able to take the gun from the boy. He faces charges of attempted murder, carrying a weapon on school grounds, and assault while displaying a dangerous weapon. He has been ordered to remain in state custody at a juvenile detention center for the time being. And finally, in our international news segment, a UN report suggests that the number of people suffering from hunger has increased during the past 3 years after years of decline. According to the analysis, millions of people globally are undernourished in 2017, about 1 person in every 9.
Last year, 821 million people, that's 1 person in every 9 in the world, faced chronic food shortages and undernutrition. And the report says 22% of children under 5 had their growth stunted because they could not get the nutrition they needed. The UN expert said a rise in extreme climate events like floods and droughts over the last decade, in addition to conflict and violence, were key factors behind the rise in hunger around the world.
And that concludes our international news segment. Stay with us as the latest in sports comes up next.
Nature has its natural course, and there's nothing we can do about that. Right? Well, you're wrong.
Let TDC Insurance help you when nature strikes by rebuilding your damaged property and getting you back on your feet in no time. This is why you need to ensure your property investment is fully covered with insurance from TDCIC. We've got your back. Visit us on the corner of West Independence Square Street and Bank Street. TDC Insurance Company, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
Welcome back and on to the latest in sports. In CPL cricket news, playoff one of the Caribbean Premier League CPL will see the Trinbago Knight Riders versus the Guyana Amazon Warriors at 6 this evening, Tuesday, September 11th. The match is being played at the Providence Stadium in Guyana. In playoff 2, the Jamaica Tallawahs will go up against the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots on Wednesday evening at 6 at the Providence Stadium. The Guyana Amazon Warriors are now in second place in the Hero CPL table, having defeated the Trinbago Knight Riders over the weekend by 6 wickets with 35 balls remaining. Meantime, the CPL has created an award for the groundsman that has overseen the greatest improvement in the pitches at tournament venues since the league's inception in 2013. The award will see the winning head groundsman being flown to New Zealand to work with world-renowned pitch expert Matt Perham. The aim of this is to further cement the Hero CPL's commitment to improve pitches across the region. And in more cricket, the Leeward Islands senior cricket team men's 50-over cricket championship is set to begin on Saturday, 15 September in Montserrat. The schedule for the games are as follows. On Saturday, 15 September, Montserrat versus St. Martin at Salem Park. Sunday, 16th, Nevis versus versus Antigua and Barbuda at Salem Park. Monday, 17th, Montserrat versus Nevis at Little Bay Park. Tuesday, 18 September, Montserrat will go up against St. Kitts at Salem Park. On Wednesday, 19th September, St. Kitts versus Nevis at Little Bay Park. On Thursday, 20th September, St. Kitts versus Antigua and Barbuda at Little Bay Park. Friday, September 21st, we'll see Montserrat go up against Anguilla at Salem Park. And Saturday, 22nd September, Montserrat will face Antigua and Barbuda at Little Bay Park. The Nevis team is set to leave for Montserrat on Wednesday, 12th September, but the officials will be watching the passage of Hurricane Isaac very closely. And in tennis news, the US Open final umpire, whom Serena Williams called a thief, has been defended by tennis's governing body. Williams, beaten in straight sets by Naomi Osaka, was docked a game for verbal abuse, having already had a point penalty for smashing her racket and a code violation for coaching. The International Tennis Federation said Carlos Ramos acted, and I quote, at all times with professionalism and integrity, and it is important to remember that Mr. Ramos undertook his duties as an official according to the relevant rule book, end quote. However, Williams' claims have been backed by the governing body of women's tennis, the WTA, with Chief Executive Steve Simon saying, and I quote, the WTA believes that there should be no difference in the standards of tolerance provided to the emotions expressed by men versus women. Osaka, 20, won Saturday's match 6-2, 6-4 to become the first Japanese Grand Slam champion. After the match, Williams refused to shake hands with the umpire. Her $17,000 fine for the code violations imposed by the United States Tennis Association will be deducted from the $1.85 million she won as runner-up. And finally, in our sporting news segment, in athletics, Britain's Mo Farah won a record 5th Great North Run on Sunday in Newcastle. Farah clocked 59 minutes and 26 seconds for his 5th win in a row in the race, with New Zealand's Jake Robertson 31 seconds back in second. London Marathon champion Vivian Cheruyot from Kenya won the women's race for a 2nd time in 3 years. Briton David Weir set a new course record to win the men's wheelchair race for the 7th time, with Paul Martina Snopek taking the women's race. Farah narrowly missed out on his half-marathon personal best, which he set in winning his 2nd title in 2015 after fading inside the final 200 meters, having pulled clear of Robertson with about 2 miles to go. And that's it for sports. The latest weather comes up next. And your weather forecast for today: sunny during the morning, cloudy during the afternoon, with a 40% or moderate chance of showers. Tonight will be mostly fair. St. Kitts and Nevis, that is St. Kitts Met Service, is closely monitoring Tropical Storm Isaac, which has lost a bit of intensity but still remains a very strong storm that is, with winds up to 70 miles per hour as it continues to move towards the island chain. Residents are reminded that we are in the peak of the hurricane season and are encouraged to ensure that their disaster plan is ready. The Met Office will continue to provide updates on the tropical storm, which should be in the vicinity of the island chain by midweek. The seas will be slight, with significant wave heights of 0.6 to 0.9 meters or 2 to 3 feet. The winds will be southerly at 4 to 8 miles per hour, becoming light and variable or calm at times tonight, northeasterly at 7 to 14 miles per hour. Your sunrise for tomorrow will be at 5:58 a.m. That's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Tuesday, 11th September 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, St. Kitts and Nevis residents urged to monitor progress of Tropical Storm Isaac, and Department of Culture begins preparation for Culturama 45. Regionally, Trinidad and Tobago shaken by 4.2 magnitude earthquake. Internationally, Hurricane Florence moves towards the U.S. And in sports, CPL playoffs to commence this evening in Guyana. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Marvin Ross, and I'm wishing you a pleasant evening.